Matchroom Boxing and Canelo Alvarez are in talks with Avni Yildirim for a February 27th bout. What's happening, everyone? I am your host, Nice, and welcome back to the Fight Room. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you do for the latest boxing news, feedback, and entertainment. So, Matchroom Boxing, Hearn, Canelo Alvarez are talking to Yildirim for a February 27th bout, and I believe that it is going to take place. Now, Avni Yildirim was supposed to fight Alvarez before, but then they didn't make that fight happen. There was a lot of talks, backlash about that opponent. Then Alvarez went and took on Smith, defeated Smith recently, and now the guy is back on the table. Now, the guy has 21 wins, 2 defeats, 12 by knockout. He's a alright type of fighter and a tremendous underdog against Canelo Alvarez. So nothing, major about this guy and his fight, other than, it's just a bypass fight for Canelo. The guy had lost to Chris Eubank Jr. back in 2017, got stopped. And, Chris Eubank is a solid type of fighter. And he also lost a technical decision to Anthony Darrell this past February. So, his 2 losses were with 2 good fighters, Chris Eubank Jr. and Anthony Darrell, which Anthony Darrell is a good, solid 168 pounder. So, now he's going to take and make his way against the biggest and perhaps the best fighter of this era right now, Canelo Alvarez. And, it is what it is for Canelo, a bypass fight. Just get that out the way because they're trying to make a supposed fight with Billy Joe Saunders. Now, we know that Billy Joe Saunders has called him out quite a lot in times past, but he had failed a drug test before. Doesn't look good for his resume, and neither does for Canelo. We know the situation with the clenbuterol, but sweep that under the rug. Let's make these fights happen, right? So he's going to fight Yildirim February 27th, and a potential fight with Billy Joe Saunders come May 8th. Now, we know that Caleb Plant is also on the table. Caleb Plant is the IBF champion, and Billy Joe Saunders the WBO. So, these guys are on the table for a potential fight May 8th against Canelo, but it looks like the fight for a May 8th bout would be with Billy Joe Saunders. Now, he is a slick southpaw, undefeated, 30 wins, no losses, 15 by knockout, and very slick, very slick. He can make you look bad in that ring if you do not know what you're doing. But I believe that Canelo, his overall experience, of course, will be a key factor in that fight and would potentially bring the best out of Saunders, and Saunders would bring the best out of Canelo, man. That would be a great fight because he is slick and he's a good fighter. And Canelo is just a beast. So it would be a highly good matchup between the two. I believe it will be one of the best fights of the year if they make that happen. And also with Caleb Plant. Now, Caleb Plant has been talking as of late also as well, stating that he would beat Canelo. He's the best well-rounded fighter in the 168-pound division. And, we cannot forget David Benavidez. David Benavidez, great hard puncher in the 168. Perhaps probably the best one out of the guys that are calling out Canelo, probably. But, he lost his privilege, losing the title under the scale, not making weight. Doesn't look good for your career. Really doesn't. And, he's young. He's learning from that. I hope he learns from that. Bounces back and, make a statement in the division because he has so far. But, it doesn't look good in his side for not complying with, the rules and making weight. That's a job that you supposed to make sure you have intact leading up to fights, man, because you want to be great and you have to establish that early on. But other than that, man, great matchup if it does become Billy Joe Saunders, even Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant has been calling him out. He's a slick fighter as well. He's a well-rounded, sharp hands, sharp technique. He's a good, well-rounded fighter as well and could give a potential problem for Canelo as well. But it remains to be seen. Y'all already know I am your host, Nice. Like, comment, subscribe, and most of all, don't forget to share the Fight Room.